Pleasure to me all at last, and welcome back to Super Foam Flying. And so now, I'm going to take a bit of a look in a whole different direction. More specifically, regional-wise. If you're familiar with Modulus, then you probably know there is some exclusivity within other countries. One of which happened to be the Modulus Tracker ECS-10. Essentially, the same sort of thing as the Modulus ECS-10, which was the blaster that started the whole Modulus series. But the Tracker ECS-10, as you can see, is a bit of a camo-like reskin of the original, complete with some different shades of green, chartreuse and apple colored, in addition to the typical white, orange, and gray that you might already find on most Nerf blasters nowadays. Also, it does, in fact, come with its very own 10 darts banana magazine, which actually does go in and out a lot smoother than what the original had done. The Modulus ECS-10 was a nice way to start up a whole new series where the combination of different attachments was what was key to the matter. It basically made all sorts of attachments and all sorts of barrels, stocks, sights, clips, dart holders, and lasers and other such stuff. Quite a staple when it comes to Nerf. And in terms of how the firing goes with the Tracker ECS-10, it's pretty much the same thing as well. Yeah, just semi-automatic. Nothing really full auto about it by any means. In terms of attachments, you could hook anything you want onto this because there are in fact 4 tactical rails, one on the top, which does in fact function as a carry handle as well. It's also where the jam door can be found. By using this jam door, you're in fact fully obligated to clear any jams if anything of any sorts were to show up. Also, there's one just below the muzzle, one on the top, and one on each side, and so that makes for 4 in total. We also can't forget about the barrel and stock adapters, which, of course, simply means that this blaster did in fact come with attachments as it did. When it was originally released exclusively in England, it did come with its own set of barrel, stock, and scope attachments, and its own banana dart magazine, which is pretty much the same thing as what we got from the Modulus and the Demolisher, but the Tracker by any means still is a Modulus ECS-10 with a different look on it for the most part. There's probably not much more I can iterate here, but if there's probably one con on this that I would have to exploit right about now, it would be the price tag. As I've said, this was released in 2018 exclusively in England. And so, being that this is a blaster that you'd have to pay top euro for, or pence, depending on where you're from, you'd have to get a lot of them in order to buy one of these on eBay. This one in particular was one of the only cheap ends of the whole thing. It still costed me a hefty number of American dollars. 78 of them. And that is before shipping and all that good stuff. International shipping is gigantic in comparison to what we can get from localized shipping within the state borderlines. Even in such states and other provinces that are part of the Union like Antigua, Barbados, Midway, Hawaii, Alaska, Virgin Islands, Cuba, Puerto Rico, you know. The whole thing is that localized shipping in these regions that are all part of America are way cheaper than international shipping. Just the fact that this came from England, costing me 78 bucks plus shipping, only leads me to wonder, how much bigger could Nerf possibly have gotten? I suppose a few other things that would also have to be thrown into the mix would be the Colossatron CS50, Stratohawk, the Mega Mastodon. I mean, there's just a ton of blasters on eBay right now that you could find that are outrageously priced. So overpriced, it's probably not worth jack by any means. Overall, the Tracker ECS-10 is fairly average for what it is, but it just does not hold up very well. The price tag is ultimately what kills it. And being a modulus ECS-10 clone, the same exact blaster, but with a different array of attachments and a different color scheme altogether, as opposed to what the very start of the modulus line had in and of itself. I would say, if I ever had to give this thing a scoring of any sorts, while the price tag is the huge failure that made this not very worth for most collectors in America, 6.1 is probably my own rating for this one entirely. And I know I have not had that many ratings put on blasters in recent times, but it just doesn't seem to me that the blasters needed to be rated in order to prove that some of which just weren't very well worth the money or the time, if you have any. So by any means, if you do want to go and waste that much just on a Tracker ECS-10, definitely try it out. In the end, it's probably not going to make much of a difference. Well, if you want to see more, go down to my channel, then make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.